Okay, so now we're gonna talk about Nightbird. But first, I wanted to take a quick look at her manual, just like we did with Slipstream. On the one page, we have that really nice poster quality artwork. Very nice, with her wielding the swords and with the size on her forearms, just like in the G1 cartoon. Love it. And on this side, you see a picture of the toy itself in both of its modes, and her tech specs, which is conveniently written in English as well as Japanese. Now, the name of this toy is technically Nightbird Shadow. I'm guessing that's because they no longer had the trademark on just Nightbird, but by tacking Shadow onto the end of it, they were able to cheat that. And the other side is the little comic that these guys always come with. It starts out with a... Is she carrying Energon drinks for everybody? Really? Really? I don't even... I wish I spoke Japanese so I could get some context there. Apparently Black Arachne is offended by something because they have her drawn with that little crosshatch blush. Not quite sure. And she can transform into a car now. No, that she transforms into a car. Okay, so given the panel flow, I don't know what's going on here. Although, apparently she's not a very good maid because despite being a ninja, she's actually a little clumsy. And like, why would they think to turn Nightbird into a moe character? And then they go ahead and like they start to mass produce her. Look at how she starts. She starts out as like this robot woman. Then they put some ninja garb on her. Then they make her like they give her the car parts so she can transform. Like what? I know like in the original G1 fiction, she started out as a robot ninja built by a Japanese scientist on Earth. But really, I like to think... Oh, who am I kidding? This is exactly how a Japanese guy would build a robot. So the second page has their mass-produced... Look, they even have, like... They come on blister cars, like action figures. And then their mass-produced Nightbirds go on a rampage throughout the city. Quick cameo from obscure characters. And everything seems to be hunky-dory, until it's revealed that every single one of these Nightbirds is just as klutzy as the original one. They get tangled in wires, stuck hanging from the sides of buildings. That kind of speaks for itself. I think that one's shy, the way she's hiding behind the building. And then there's like a pile of them there. What the heck happened? And then she winks into the camera. I really wish I could read what that said. If anybody could translate these comics, I would love to get links to them in the comments section, because this is just... I don't even. That said, let's finally take a look at the toy itself. This is Nightbird. Nightbird Shadow in car mode. It is the exact same car mode that RC had. Right down to how the weapons store underneath, including the one that is actually holding her arms in place. She has wheels, which actually roll significantly better than the wheels from the RC that I have. Although I don't know, something happened. Her feet, don't really seem to peg in quite as well. Like, I don't know why. Maybe the different kinds of plastics that Takara uses just didn't gel as well with the mold as the whatever type Hasbro used. That's the only thing I can think of. It just doesn't peg in as solidly as it does on my RC version of the toy. Don't know what that's about. Now, as we all know, RC, besides coming with the guns, also came with a pair of swords, here molded out of translucent yellow plastic. And just like with RC, the swords can be mounted onto the car itself, either using the robot mode hips to get like kind of a pseudo wing thing going on. Zoom out a bit. Or to peg them in here on the peg them in here on the top, where they can kind of look like gun emplacements, because as we all know, these are gun blades. Hold it this way, it's a sword. Hold it on that peg, it has a little gun. But because this is Nightbird, she wouldn't get away without her iconic weapon, and that is the sai. These are beautifully molded out of translucent yellow plastic, and they can be held in the hands. Although in car mode, they'll just kind of mean sticking them out of the car like that, which kind of looks silly, like she's trying to get XM radio for free. But you can peg them in this way, and wow, holy crap! That's reminding me of something. What is that reminding me of? Oh yeah! Alright, so before that jump cut, what was I talking about? When you put the sai on the roof, they're in the exact same place as the sai on my custom Nightbird. Remember custom Nightbird? This was the very first official Transformer custom I ever made, back when I thought that they would never actually get around to making an official one. That's kind of nice. Kismet. Look at that, they're right there. They're in the same place. That's awesome. Despite the fact that this is her butt flap and these are her forearms, they're totally in the same place in vehicle mode, and that's kind of sweet. Okay, so taking a look, it's the RC mold done up in silver and black, although the seats in the cockpit are painted a very nice purple, and the dashboard is picked out in silver. And the windshield is a matching yellow translucent plastic to go with the weapons. Overall, it is a really, really great redeco of the RC mold. I mean, these colors simply work. They work exactly as well as they did for RC and her little pink car. Speaking of RC and the little pink car, let's bring her out. We can just see the comparison between the two. Yeah, I mean, it's not only that they changed the colors, they changed the pattern too. I mean, that really helps to make the cars look different and distinct from each other. And I really love the placement of that Decepticon logo. There's no optical illusion making it look red here. That is a purple Decepticon logo if I ever saw one. Okay, so in the G1 cartoon, Nightbird was never actually given a vehicle mode, so let's take her the way that she appeared back then. Nightbird's robot mode is just... Okay. This looks... Barring the drawing art style, this is about as much like the G1 version of the character as you could possibly get without actually just making her original mold. I can't believe how you could turn RC into Nightbird so well with just a new head and a different sculpt in the chest plate. It is just amazing. And in a brilliant move on the part of the painters, the backpack is almost entirely black. That means that it kind of fades out. Like, now you can see it because it's an all-white background, but under most circumstances, this will kind of blend away. So at a casual glance, you'd be hard pressed to remember her actually having a backpack, which is a good thing because Nightbird didn't have a backpack in the cartoon. It's a beautiful triumph of how a paint job can actually make a character look more accurate, even if it's facing down an impossible engineering task. I mean, like, you know what I've said about RC. She has these really nice heel spurs in the back so she doesn't fall backwards. That backpack is kind of huge and dominates her entire rear from behind. But otherwise, she's very curvy and lithe and just awesome. Let's get a nice zoom in so we can see everything up close. Alright, let's start with the face. I mean, that's Nightbird's face. That is Nightbird's face. It looks great. And look, her neck ball joint actually has more range going backwards than Slipstream's does. Although that does kind of reveal this big chin. Although, you know, it's just part of her cowl. It's not like she has some weird beard going on. That's... Sorry, the stage is getting in the way. She also has all the details on the chest plate from the cartoon, as well as those star designs on her belt, because that is, of course, a staple of her design. The sai can peg onto her forearms facing this way, just like they did in the original cartoon. Although they are kind of long. They come up over her shoulders and can get in the way a bit. So you gotta be careful not to impact the backpack. So you just gotta be careful using the bicep swivel to your advantage. If she didn't have a bicep swivel, I'd say that this got in the way, but it's there, so it's not a big deal. And of course, she still has those hips where you can cheat the transformation, make them go out farther. Although they have lots of range in the other ways. I love that the figure has a natural bend in the knees that can go so deep, because that is super helpful for a ninja. I mean, look at that. Ninjas are supposed to be flexible, and this RC mold, barring a waist joint, has all the flexibility that you would need to get some really cool ninja poses on. Eesh. Eesh, eesh. Okay, so Nightbird, I showed the size off. Oh, one flaw. You may have heard a little popping noise. This doesn't seem to want to stay in place. Like, it just doesn't. Like the little shell that the head is on, I can't seem to get it to peg in properly. It like keeps coming out on me. Oh well, it's not a big deal. The guns. RC's guns done up in all black. Nothing special there. For her it works. They don't look unpainted, they look stealthy. The Nightbird figure had the same problem with RC, where there was a little shelf in the plastic at the bottom. A shelf of plastic at the bottom of the hand, which made it look silly when she tried to hold her guns. As you can see by that black line, I cut the shelf off just like I did there. Unfortunately, that leaves a black line there, but hey, now you can stick the gun in the whole way. And of course, you can do the same for her swords. Alright, I already went over in my RC review how you can always just, how there's all kinds of peg-in places to have her carrying her weapons without actually wielding them. So let's not go into that detail right now. Let's just do a quick side-by-side comparison. Here is the original RC. As you can see, yeah, you can clearly see how they're pretty much the same mold, because everything on them is the same. But it's just impressive how different simple, just like with turning Windblade into Slipstream, a new head and a new chest plate in conjunction with a great paint job, are all you really need to make one character convincingly transmute into another. And again, like I mentioned, because her backpack is pink and white, it very clearly shows over RC's body. But with Nightbird, the black backpack and her bright silver and gray body really causes this to pop out, so you can almost forget that the backpack is even there. And, you know, just because I gotta stick in my custom animated Nightbird, who is not ridiculously super tall next to her generation's counterpart like Slipstream was. In fact, she's a little bit shorter. I mean, if you measure from the top of the head as opposed to the backpacks. But yeah, I made Nightbird was my very first official custom transformer, and I made her at a time when I thought that we were never actually going to get an official Nightbird toy. So here it is all these years later, and that which I thought was impossible has now officially happened. I mean, that is just wonderful, isn't it? Isn't it great to be living in these times? I mean, the character was introduced decades ago and was virtually forgotten in all forms of fiction. And here she is, getting a toy, and I just could not be happier. So, the Nightbird figure, well, Nightbird Shadow, as she's called, is just like with Slipstream. It's a character that I never thought that we would get to see in actual plastic form, so fully realized and accurate to her original depiction. This is just a lovely little trio. I mean, we get a character from the G1 cartoon, a character from the animated cartoon, and if I had Black Arachnia, a character from the Beast Wars era, even. I mean, the only thing, I mean, that's a perfect trifecta of famous cartoons there. I mean, the only thing that they could have really done to increase recognition was if they like made some of the characters from Armada or Cybertron or something. Like maybe if they made a Thunderblast. Hopefully they could make a Thunderblast that transforms from a boat into a transformer instead of a boat that transforms into a robot girl with an inside-out boat on her back. But now I'm just being nitpicky. I'm really happy that these two have finally come to the fore. And even though I didn't get the Black Arachnia, I'm really happy just the way things turned out. This is Wakeangel2K1, and I'm signing off.